All right, the House of Representatives is expected to vote tomorrow on a resolution from the House Ethics Committee and their chairman, Michael Guest. But the vote is going to deal with removing New York Congressman George Santos from office. And this is a major event for the chamber, obviously. It's only happened 5 times in history, only 5 times ever. 3 times it happened for individuals who supported the Confederacy during the Civil War, and twice for individuals who committed federal crimes. And keep in mind that it's considered almost a certainty that his seat would be filled by a Democrat, which obviously narrows what is already a razor-thin majority that the GOP currently holds. Well, joining me now to bring us the latest on this and a whole lot more is Congressman Matt Rosendale. He serves on the House Committee on Veterans Affairs as well as the Committee on Natural Resources and represents the 2nd Congressional District of Montana. Congressman Rosendale, great to see you. Welcome back to Washington Watch.
Thanks for having me on tonight, Jody.
Well, it's our pleasure indeed. All right, we've been hearing a lot all over the news about Congressman George Santos and the situation there. Give us the latest. What are you hearing? What do you anticipate happening tomorrow?
Yeah, so they're having the debate today, and I think that they will bring up the resolution for consideration tomorrow on the floor for the full House vote. And honestly, Jody, I find it disappointing. I'm not saying that I condone any of the actions or alleged actions of George Santos, but what I will tell you is that he hasn't been convicted of anything. And if you look at the previous people who've been expelled from Congress, they've been convicted of felonies. Okay, and to go and make this precedent where someone has been accused of something, and before they've had an opportunity to be judged by a group of peers for their innocence or not, is very problematic. Who else are they going to bring before the House and try to expel, and for what? Okay, conduct that they don't consider acceptable, or alleged conduct that they don't consider acceptable. The Ethics Committee typically, as you well know, does their investigation, and they raise their grievances, and typically folks are assessed a fine and are made sure that they don't continue that conduct any longer. So again, this is an incredibly large precedent. It's worrisome, and I don't know who else is going to be brought before the mob, if you will, to see if they can be expelled.
Yeah, well, those are there are 2 issues that are alarming to me. And likewise, look, the actions that he allegedly has done, indefensible. I get that. If he should be removed, he should be removed. But he should be removed after he's convicted, after he's gone through the process and actually has been convicted of the crimes that he's been charged with. And I think that point is a very significant one. The other issue that concerns me is that there is not an equal accountability on the Democrat side. I mean, do you believe that the Democrats would ever go after one of their own in similar circumstances?
Oh, I know they won't. We saw that play out in Jamal Brown when he pulled a fire alarm to stop the business of Congress from being conducted, and we saw a lot of people, literally hundreds of people, who are serving time at federal penitentiary right now, who came to the Capitol on January the 6th and were charged with a similar crime, and they're doing time, and yet we see a Democrat member of Congress who pulls a fire alarm to delay the conduct and the actions of Congress, and we see nothing taking place whatsoever. And again, the biggest thing is due process. I don't know whether George committed any crimes or not. He allegedly committed some crimes. Due process says that he is supposed to be judged by a jury of his peers to determine whether he's guilty or not of these charges. And no one has been expelled from Congress without being convicted. And the folks, if you look at it, there was 3, I think, during the Civil War that were charged with treason, okay, against the United States government. And there's been 2 since the Civil War, and they were charged with bribery and other types of felonies and convicted
Well,
of
they were
those crimes
convicted.
before they
Yeah,
were
convicted.
expelled.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
All right. We've only got a couple of minutes left. If I can quickly shift gears to the National Defense Authorization Act. Of course, we're watching closely Senate Democrats and their push to try to remove the Jackson-Roy amendment that rolls back the Pentagon's illegal abortion travel policy. You also have an amendment in that regarding not using tax dollars for gender reassignment surgery. What's the latest on the NDAA? What's going to happen here?
So I've got grave concerns about that, Jody. I will tell you, it's my understanding that that's being discussed by the four corners, so the leadership in both chambers and both parties, and this is supposed to go to a conference so that the members can work this out. I will tell you that it came out of the House with some really, really good language. Was the first time ever I am told that it was able to get passed with all Republican votes, because we did strip out all of the provisions from the NDAA that do not direct or are not directed at investing in making our military the most effective fighting force on earth. And so if they pull those provisions out, if they reinsert language that allows for taxpayers' dollars to be used for abortions and transgender surgeries and other woke type policies, then it's the likelihood of it having the Republican support here in the House is thin to none.
Yeah, and there's no doubt the NDAA that was passed months ago was a great one. Hats off to you and all your colleagues for doing an outstanding job on that. And we just got to get it across the finish line. How important is it now for people to call their members? And we've only got a few seconds, but in fact, I want to give out the switchboard number. Let me do that. 202-224-3121. That's 202-224-3121. How important is it, Congressman Rosendale, for people to
please, everybody that is in your audience, please call your House representative up and assure them that they need to keep that language out. Call your senator up. Make sure they don't pass the NDAA with those provisions in there.